Yeah, I think.
Great. Oh, Jennifer's here.
Welcome, everybody. Hoping to have as many people on as we can. I know some people aren't going to be able to make it, but we're recording this so that they can watch it later. If we're sharing important information, we don't want them to forget. Carol, how are you feeling?
Fair.
Fair? You think you're going to be able to get around okay?
Not wonderful. Just a minute. I've got a very poor. Let me see if I can raise the volume a little bit. Here, let's see if that's better. On the 5th of December, I had gallbladder surgery. I was there for 3 days. They sent me home too early, and they didn't put a drain in, and my stomach looked like I was 5 months pregnant. Went back to the hospital, and they put a drain in, and I was there for another 3 or 4 days. And came home. I was exhausted and slept a great deal that first week. The second week, I started to go out a little bit. By Wednesday, I had a haircut, got to the beautician, had my haircut, got up to get off the chair. My foot was caught in the footrest and I fell.
Oh, no.
And I stretched my back the wrong way. So I've been going to PT. I have no energy. And right now, I'm questioning whether I should even continue with this because I don't know if I have the stamina and the energy to continue. And I don't want to hold anybody back, but I don't want to miss anything. So I'm having difficulty making a decision, and I got to do it within the next 2 or 3 days.
President of recession, some economists are predicting this year we will see a slow sector. Moody's Analytics provides economic research.
Have you spoken with anyone through there?
I'm sorry, Karen, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, have you reached out to anyone at J2? You said you had to make a decision in the next few days.
I've been with my doctors. I'm going to PT. I haven't spoken to anybody at Temple about this because I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the stamina to do this.
Yeah.
McHenry, police got called Dayton's DeSoto Gas Department
complex. I know that there are some parts that are going to be hard to reach if you were to see if you could get a wheelchair or something of that nature. I can ask.
I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating for me. I've already decided I'm not taking any side trips because I'll use that time to rest.
Yes,
not only that,
absolutely.
but I've been to Israel before. I've been to Masada.
They are still here. There's multiple.
And I've been to a lot of places, but there are places I haven't been, and that's why I wanted to go on this trip.
Yeah. Well, I certainly will. I can inquire a little bit about what can be modified if that helps you make a decision.
Carol,
Thank you.
Carol,
Yeah.
am I muted or can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, Carol, I'm your roommate.
Hi.
Hi, I will help you, whatever you need.
Vicky, I don't know whether I've got the stamina to go through this. I'm serious about that. I went to PT today and then I had to go to Meyer and I just got home and I can barely walk. I mean, I'm so exhausted right now. And I've got to have a lot more energy in 2 weeks. So that's where I'm coming from.
I'm gonna ask, as far as some of the places that we're going, how much walking or modifications are going to be necessary or available.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course. We have someone that we're working with on the ground that I can talk to specifically.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry that you're experiencing this, and I really do hope that,
It's this whole
is
month of
happening.
December sucked
Hmm.
big time. Everything just, if it could have gone wrong, it did.
January is gonna go great.
I hope so. I'm planning on it.
you're still on our Misha Berach list. We're praying for you.
Thank you.
But hello, everybody. It's great to see so many of you. Hello.
Hi.
Does everybody have their names up on there? If you don't, if you want to put your name on so people know who you are. To say it looks like, where are we? Most people do.
I have my name up there. Rabbi Terry, is it up there? I can't see the
Yes.
whole group.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Is there a way to see the whole group?
Change your view.
Yeah.
And where
It should
is
be-
that?
It's should be in the upper right-hand corner.
Now, see, my upper right-hand corner just has leave. And I know I don't want to do that.
It should look like there are a couple of squares together that wherever it is,
Normally it does. It
it
doesn't.
looks like a Sudoku.
It might depend on whether you're using the web version or whether you're using
Oh,
the Zoom
I'm
app.
on my iPhone. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
on my
that would be,
iPhone.
you might
I'm on
only,
Zoom app.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, well, we're close, guys. We're close. How many of you have started packing?
Absolutely.
That's exciting. I know that I'm still buying some stuff. I was thinking about some, what is it? Waterproof shoes. I don't know how much rain we're gonna have because we were really lucky last time. I'm hoping I don't have to use them. But I have to put in here for your chat, I'm gonna put a link to you, which is going to be for the packing recommendation given by J2 Adventures to us. I have added it to our WhatsApp group. I put a couple things on there so that they will be documented on there and you'll have access to them later. I want to first look at some of the things that Teresa had already sent. I hope you saw her message about COVID. Did everybody see that?
Mhm.
So just to let you know that the most important things on those were making sure your travel's insurance covers the COVID stuff. I want to let you know that Rich Cohen just gave me about 12 boxes of COVID tests today. So if you don't have one, I'll have some. Don't worry. And they're pretty easy to get. My doctor was able to prescribe me Paxlovid preventatively. They wanted us to, not preventatively, but in case I get it. They are very hard to get unless you are in a specific, very specific group, you will not be able to get it if you get COVID. So if you want to see if your doctor can write you a prescription that you can take with you in case you get COVID, that would be something to take care of now. All medications should be in your carry-on luggage.
Do we have to have, I put all my medications in a little thing ahead of time. Do we have to have all the labels for our medications with us? No, okay.
Yeah,
Do we need to have a copy of the prescription with us when
no.
we go through customs? Okay.
My guess is they're not going to look that closely at your medication.
Okay.
So they don't have to be in their original bottles, Rabbi?
No.
Okay, excellent.
So we're not going to Russia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There are other places that are just as rough.
Mhm.
When we talk about carry-on luggage, just a reminder, you're going to want to take things so that you have at least a change of underwear and hopefully a change in clothes. So if you want to change clothes when you're on the airplane or just in case anything, you don't need anything valuable with you, but if you have something valuable, put it on your carry-on. Don't unnecessarily set yourself up for losing something important. Another thing was to bring masks. You don't have to wear masks anywhere in Israel except for the hospital. But as Terry had written down, or Teresa, sorry,
Terry's
But-
fine.
you may want to wear a mask on the bus or any other close circumstances like on the airplane. Unfortunately, they told us that there's usually at least 1 or 2 people on each trip that get COVID.
Hmm.
So the better we are at being preventative, wonderful, which means being responsible. And if we feel the least bit like we're not feeling good, we should get
Tell you,
bring a thermometer if you want. I can bring one too, and check to see if you have a fever. Just trying to again take our own responsibility and try not to get anyone else sick. But Teresa also suggested, being especially careful the week before to not put yourself at risk to get COVID. And I can tell you that it worked really well for campers this summer. They had asked all the campers and parents to, wear masks in the week before their kids went, and they only had 1 case of COVID. So vigilance the week before is helpful. Doesn't mean there won't be someone you come in contact to, but hopefully you'll get there and be able to have the best experience possible. So as far as medication and carry-on stuff, the other part that is important, again, anything that you want in your carry-on, all medication, if you have a laptop, a camera, anything that's valuable to you, keep it in there. I would say as well, bring a copy of your passport. I think it's important that you have a copy. I would say take a picture of it and keep it in your phone so you have it. If you want, you can send me a copy of it so that I have it. But the most important thing is when you enter Israel, you're going to get a visa, a B2 visa, and we will need to show it at every single hotel that we go to. If you do not show it, a 17% VAT will be added to your bill. You do not want that. So I'm going to ask that as soon as you get your visa, take a picture of it and send it to me. And I'm going to keep a copy of all of them. And if you want, I can hold on to all of them and put them in my safe or whatever. But either way, just make sure that you do not lose it. Remember, visa, and do not lose it. Teresa.
I think I recall that the people from J2 said, the visa is the little piece of paper that they tuck back into your passport, which just screams, drop me.
Yep.
So I would, as soon as you get it, just click the picture right away and put that piece of paper somewhere other than inside your passport, which it will fall out of.
Yeah. Yep. Well said. Carol?
When I was in Israel in the 90s, at the time you went through customs and you had your passport checked, they asked you if paper stamped or if you wanted your passport stamped. And do they still do this? The reason they did that was that people traveling to Israel, if they had their passport stamped with Israeli stamp, were not allowed in other countries.
Right.
And I want to know if customs still does that.
So our experience a few years ago, first of all, there are some changes that have happened with other countries so that you can, even if you did have a stamp, but I found that they did not stamp it. Instead, it was just on the visa that we got the piece of paper for, if I remember correctly. Excuse me. So I don't think you have to make that decision.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was there another question? Lonnie, did you have a question? You're muted. Okay.
I have questions.
Too many. Go ahead, Vicky.
Oh, well, okay. I'm only going to bring 1 pair of shoes. If I needed, say, flip-flops or something, could I buy them there?
Those things are pretty easy to get.
Okay.
I mean, depends on the time of year, but if you're someplace where you want flip-flops, you're going to find them.
Okay.
Karen,
Yeah.
I was going to just say, when the time comes and you want me to talk about what to bring, I can address some of that, some of the questions people may have about what to bring,
Okay.
climate and stuff like that.
Then a question about laundry. So will we be able to do laundry, or should I pack enough clothes so I don't have to do laundry?
Neither.
Teresa?
I think I can answer your question. At some of the hotels, if you want to pay for laundry to be done, you can, but I've personally seen someone do it and then the next day we're ready to leave and they couldn't find what they had done.
Oh,
I'm going to suggest, among my miscellaneous suggestions, is most people are going to have to do a little hand laundry somewhere along the line. Even if you want to pack enough for every single day to have something clean, that's a lot of clothes.
I know.
But sometimes you're going to spill something or you'll get a mark on something. You go, well, I'm not going to wash it, but I don't want this to set. So what I'm suggesting is first of all, the hotels, as I recall, they don't have plugs on the sink. So you can't use the sink. So what I suggest is take a gallon Ziploc bag and take a little soap or use your shampoo, which makes great soap, delicate wash. Wash it in the plastic bag. And I always take a plastic hanger, the kind that has the swivel metal top that I can hook on different things and has 2 little clips. And I always put that in the bottom of my suitcase. So if I have anything that gets wet and needs to dry, that I can do it that way.
Okay. Do they usually give you like shampoo like they do here?
Don't count on it.
Oh,
I found they did, but it's
Okay.
better sometimes not to count on it.
okay.
If you get it, you'll have samples to take home for gifts.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. What to wear at the wall?
I don't imagine you're going to have a problem because I don't imagine that you're going to wear something that's not reasonably modest. There are some people who prefer to wear a skirt because that's a more traditional approach to going towards the wall, but I don't believe you have to anymore. I believe you can wear pants and that's okay, but I wouldn't wear shorts or skirts that are really short
Okay.
or arms that are uncovered. I would wear a shawl or something.
Okay. Then I have one more question. Do they have thrift stores in Israel?
Thrift?
Thrift. I love to shop thrift stores, so I just wonder if they have them.
I think you'll find plenty of stuff at the flea markets that's similar,
Okay.
but I don't know that they have, I've never seen a thrift shop there.
Well, there's a whole group of things to do.
Yeah,
I mean, I could start thrift stop, a Goodwill over there.
it's true.
I'm kidding. Okay,
Um,
that's all my questions.
I'm gonna share my screen with you real quick. I have, where's document 6? Just a couple of things when we were talking to, I don't know where all you all went, but I can see the screen. One second. There you are. Okay, for the most part. On here, a couple of things that are some changes to our itinerary. For those of you who are paying very close attention, I wanted to let you know for Shabbat dinner, the Chazan at Kehilat Har El, Evan Cohen, will be able to join us for Shabbat dinner and be able to talk to us a little bit about their community and just spend some time with us. So that'll be a nice addition to our group. On January 22nd, again, these are not significant things. I just want you to know that if you're paying very close attention, you'll notice these changes. Our speaker is going to be in the evening on the 22nd instead of the morning. The 23rd is the day that we have the Women of the Wall service, and hopefully you've seen a little bit of the stuff about what's going on and what to expect. You should know that Anat Hoffman is going to be meeting with us after, which I think is a wonderful opportunity that we didn't have the last time. So I'm excited about that. We are not going to be able to do the Ramparts tour. So if anyone was really dying to do that, I apologize that we're just not going to have the time to do that. The 24th, we had been a little bit ambitious about some of the things that we wanted to do. And one of the things that we had thought of was to have a speaker come and talk to us about Kfar Aza, which is a kibbutz community next to the border. And we were talking with our guide and with J2, and they said it really is a much better conversation if you're there rather than simply having her talk about it. And so we're going to spend more time going to visit, and we're going to drive past Sde Boker, which is where Ben Gurion's house is, rather than spending a lot of time at the house. So that's one of the changes that we made to it. They're not able to make a group reservation for us to have lunch at this great hotel, Bereshit, but they're going to, as far as part of our trip. But if we have a number of people who want to, and we have an idea of how many, they will try to make us a reservation. She'll find out the next week if they'll be able to do it. So please let us know if that's something you're interested in. When we go to Petra, I will remind you of this when we get there. Do not ask Mookie any questions about Petra. He is not allowed to be the guide for us when we get there. And he can get in a lot of trouble for answering any questions. So if you have questions, ask them the bus before we get there. You'll have a lot of time before that, since it's at the end of the trip or end of the trip, but just don't ask our guide about it. And then just a little bit of change in our itinerary on the last day. We're going to go to the Peace Center first, then the market, and have our farewell dinner. Again, very small changes, but if you've been writing it down and you're really paying attention, I don't want you to be surprised. Questions about those changes? Yeah, you guys are easy. Have all of you got access in the chat to the list that I just sent for luggage?
No, I don't know how to get it after the chat's over.
Okay. If you are on the WhatsApp group, I did send it to you, but I can send it to the group to the group list as well. But I'm also putting it right now. I'm going to go again into the chat.
Okay.
Can you just send it on the Israel group list?
Yeah. It was there. And I'll send that right there. So Teresa, I'll let you take over as far as the packing stuff, if you'd like.
Okay. I'm not going to tell anybody trips to packing. You've all vacationed somewhere, so you have your own way of doing it. I just want to talk a little bit about clothes in Israel. As we've heard before, Israel is really informal. Whatever you wear around Dayton will be just fine for Israel. You don't need a suit, a tie, a dress when we have the Shabbat service. Nice pants, a shirt or blouse will be just fine. For the weather, I want to talk to you a minute about the weather. But as you've heard, take layers, take layers. That's about the best advice. I'm going to tell you about the temperatures we should expect during our time there. I've checked what they, you can't count on anticipated weather forecast 2 or 3 weeks out, but it gives you an idea. And so what I'm going to tell you is pack for the coldest weather I mentioned. You don't need a lot of clothes for the coldest weather. Just look at what you've got and say, okay, do I have an outfit I can pull together when it's 45 degrees and rainy at Petra and I'm out outside all day? I personally am packing an extra hoodie to go under my jacket. So even you don't have to have lots of warm clothes, just so you can be really warm and dry. Because if you're not warm and dry, you're not having a good time. So what I would say is just remember on this tour, we're outside over half the time. We'll be inside for some things, but we do a lot of outside time. At Petra, you're going to be able to tell that I'm most worried about you for Petra. We are outdoors all day long. To my knowledge, they have no buildings to walk into like museums. It's an outdoor museum. They used to have a restaurant, and people would get a lunch there, and that may be it. It is going to be probably the chilliest place we go, and it's also windy there. And it can be windy or sometimes just breezy. So I want you to make sure you've packed enough, because 45 degrees there is just as cold as 45 degrees here. So you know what, you need to be warm here at that temperature. Just something, except for Mitzpe Ramon at the crater, we're going to be pretty much done touring by 5 o'clock when it gets dark, and then we have dinner. So we won't be running around in the coldest part of the day, and we won't be getting up so early that we're feeling the coldest part of the day. The one time we are going to be out in the evening will be at the crater, and I'll talk to you about that in just a second with temps. Today we were in the upper 50s, and that gave you a good idea of the kind of temperatures you're going to run into in Israel. The temperatures there will be 10 degrees more than that and 10 degrees less. It's a little cooler this January than I've experienced in past years, and a little rainier. What's kind of funny is that we have a lot of little microclimates in Israel, even though it's a teeny place. So to give you an idea, I looked at the forecast for the days we're going to be in Israel. Eilat is the warmest place, and during our time there, it's like 63 to 66 high. That's it, in the warmest place. The next warmest place is Tel Aviv, and it's going to be 58 to 65 degrees during our trip there. And they got a few rainy days in the forecast. Now, we may not get a single rainy day because we're on the move. We may miss the rain, but it's out there. The next place in terms of the temperature is the crater at Mitzpe Ramon. And during the day, it's like 51 to 56, very similar to what we had today. Except in the evening after dinner, if we go for the stargazing, I'm going to guess it's down in the crater. It's where I've been before for stargazing. And the temperatures drop a lot in the desert in the dark. Overnight at Mitzpe Ramon, it gets into the 30s. Now, we're not going to be out there all night to the early hours, but it'll start to get chilly. And when you're in a basin, cold air sinks, so the basin is chillier than the rim. So that's what you want to make sure you got, a bunch of layers, because if you're comfy, you're going to enjoy it. Then the last place, the chilliest, is Petra, and they have 45 to 50 degrees during our whole trip. That's the range, and it's breezy, so it may feel a little colder. So to summarize, bring a hat for the rain and the sun. Bring a scarf for your neck, because most of us are wearing spring jackets. This is very much like March weather. So, and usually our spring jackets don't cover our necks well. Bring gloves. I always pack gloves in the winter. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. But if your hands are warm, you can put up with colder temperatures. And some of you who don't think you need socks in Israel, because when you were there, it was hot, pack socks. You're going to need some sturdy shoes, because we're going to be walking not just on sidewalks, but on gravelly, stony dirt. And you're going to need an umbrella or poncho. And
Both.
or both, yeah, or both. Mookie recommended we use a day pack. I have tried all kinds of purses. I've tried slings. I hate purses, even when they're light, because after enough hours, your shoulder just hurts. So I'm going with the day pack this time. So those were some of my recommendations about clothes and what to bring. Any comments or questions about some of that stuff? Okay. Do you want me to?
Teresa, I have a question
Sure,
about adapters. So I've been looking on Amazon, and I don't know what kind of adapter to bring that's like for my phone to recharge.
Okay, I am not a techie here, and if someone is, please jump in. But I know for my Apple product,
Yes.
I do not. There's two things that sometimes people get confused. One is the word adapter, and one is the
Yes.
word transformer or converter. An adapter is simply a plug that goes on your phone so you can plug it into a wall or to any other because the plugs in Israel are not the same as our plugs. And you can buy a little box of different adapters for different parts of the world. A transformer converter is something you might use for something that you need to put it into a wall in Israel, but their current is what, 220 and ours is 110.
Mhm.
So if you're talking about your phone, is that what you're talking about?
Well, my phone, I know the adapter, but then I was thinking, and I may just forget it, is to bring a curling iron, and that would need the converter. Is my understanding. So I wanted to clarify that if I decide to bring it, because it's going to definitely be one of those things that, and don't they usually have hair dryers in the hotel rooms?
They
Yes,
have the hotels we're in are for the most part will have a hair dryer.
Yeah.
They don't push out as much air as we're used to, but they'll do the trick. It takes a little longer. Check with about your converters. Yeah, you'll need something that changes from to step
voltage,
down 220
yes.
to
for
110.
the things that heat especially.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And I
Lonnie,
may just not bring it.
yeah, Lonnie's got an example of something that would do it for you.
You want something with a type C adapter, or I believe
Okay.
also, is it H, I think, that has the three circular prongs. You can
Okay.
get them really cheaply on
Uh-oh.
Amazon. The other thing I would suggest if you want is you can get a travel battery pack.
Mhm.
Each night you can charge it and then you'll have it for your trip. If you're worried about something, running low, you can have a backup charger or backup battery.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great.
Can I see what Lonnie has again?
He's muted.
All right, you wanted to see what we got?
Yeah, does it look like this?
It's very similar to yours. It's got one on the face and one on the bottom, and then the plug.
I
So
only
I
have
actually have
two.
3 of these. So I have 6 outlets.
So Vicky, they have two different types of outlets, and that's the one, I want to say it's an H kind. Not every, you do not need to have that third prong, just like with ours here in the States. So if you only have 2, you're fine.
Okay,
If you have 3 and you find one that only has 2 prongs, you're going to wish that you had the other.
When I
Okay.
went looking online, I literally found one that said it was for Israeli Palestine
ah, okay.
use adapter. So I hope it's right.
Yeah,
It is, it looks right.
this is an example of a converter. It's by Key. It has a place where you'd put your American style plugs in. It has an attachment that you put into the wall, and it comes with 4 kind of adapters. Depending on what country you're in, you'll use a different one.
Wow.
I'm not even sure I'm going to take this converter. It's a little heavy
There's a
because
lot.
my computer and my phone do not need a converter.
Right.
So my Apple phone can be charged on a 220 volt, and so can my computer. So what I do need though will be the adapter so I can plug it into the wall.
I have up here the J2 recommendation list. Hand luggage, again, same thing as before. Just a reminder, you may want things like hand sanitizer, again, because you're trying to be as vigilant as you can. It's always a good idea to carry your health and travel stuff with you, a photocopy of your passport. Snacks, that's one thing. If you are worried about, hunger, or if you have, a low blood sugar, high blood sugar, you can bring different types of, I don't know, granola bars and stuff. You can find that stuff there, but if you feel more comfortable bringing something that you have with you, even for the flight, it's not a bad idea. You will want sunglasses. It is sunny there. As far as your wardrobe, everything that Teresa has said, again, layer. So that's the best we can say. And Vicky, just to add to what you had asked about with, do we bring enough clothes? the most important thing for us to remember is that none of us are judging each other if we wear something again. And actually, when you're traveling like this, the expectation is that you wear things more than once, or that you can mix and match a shirt with pants that you've already worn. I wouldn't worry about it. The only thing again is if you wanted to bring your own laundry detergent and plastic bag, which I think is a great idea. Thank you, Teresa.
I do too.
And you know, if you feel like something needs a refresh, you can do that. I would also say bring a stain stick, you know, Tide stick or whatever. So if you do get a little stain, you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Karen,
Yeah,
how much cash do you suggest we take?
Thank you. That's what I was wanting to know.
No, you don't need cash.
Can
um,
Teresa?
go ahead.
I was going to say, you need dollars for the airports when you're going and coming. When you get to Israel, you'll be working in shekels, not US dollars. When I have found in Dayton, I've tried to order shekels in advance and no banks don't want to deal with shekels. If you're going maybe to France or London or something, or get euros, you could get euros. So when we get to the airport, after we go through luggage, we'll be in the arrivals hall. We'll all be gathered there. There is an ATM, and the ATM is how you will get your money. If you've traveled years ago, you would go to an exchange office, and they still have them around. But you'll go to the ATM, and you'll put in your card, and you'll say how many hundreds of dollars you want, and they'll give it to you back in shekels. What I would suggest you do is, and then also there's an ATM at a bank a couple blocks from the hotel we're going to be in Israel the first night, if it's still there, because I walked up there and I got some more money out of the ATM. I'd suggest contact your credit card company before we go. Tell them you're going to be in Israel, because if you start having charges pop up in Israel, they may hold up on them because they want to confirm that it's you. So you can tell them before you go where and when you're going to be there, and your charges won't get held up. Also, ask them what are their fees. You will pay a fee for using an ATM, and you will pay a fee because they're going to exchange your dollars for shekels. Last time I was there, it's like 1%. What I exchanged, they took $1 out of every 100 I exchanged. But ask your bank, you can't get around it, so you might as well just be prepared for it. I always raise my credit card limit because I have a low credit card amount intentionally, but I zoom that way high when I go overseas, because let's say I get COVID, I've got to pay for a hotel. I may have to pay for a flight back. I don't want to not be able to do that. I'll deal with the big credit card bill when I get home. So you might want to raise that. If you're used to using your debit card, just make sure you've got a lot in your account so you won't get stuck. Let's see.
Yeah, I
let me
suggest, go ahead.
I was going to finish one more thing and then I'm done. Something I do that is helpful to me is when I get to Israel and I get shekels, I put away my wallet or my change purse with US money. That goes in my suitcase. I have a separate wallet that I keep my shekels in. If you put them all together, you are forever sorting through your coins and your dollars. It's a pain. So bring 2 wallets, and then you'll have a US dollar one and a shekel one for Israel, and it's easier. I'm sorry, please go ahead, Carol.
My personal suggestion is not to use your debit card at all. When we were in Florence many years ago, maybe about 8 years ago, I used an ATM machine with my debit card to take money out, and it was scammed. And I had like $3,000 taken out of my account. Fortunately, I was insured and the bank replaced the money. This can happen any country you travel in today, because if you use your ATM, if you use your debit card on an outside ATM machine, sometimes they've got a gimmick on it that can read your cards, you know, if it's not attached to the bank. Now, if you go to the bank and do it, I don't see a problem. But if you're in an outside area and there's an ATM, don't use your debit card.
I found that most of the places where there are debit cards are often the banks on the outside. When I was living there, I always used my debit card. That was the only thing I did, and I never had a problem. But I think you're going to have the same risks in any country as you have here. So if you're not wanting to take that risk here, I wouldn't take it there. But if that's something you're comfortable with and you are familiar with what you need to do for that coverage, then I would say it's probably okay. Just make sure that you know how much they're going to charge you, and that they're aware ahead of time that you're going to be traveling, so they don't think it's fraud. Vicki.
Well, I do know that if you use you go get cash or whatever from a bank, some banks it's a better deal than others. And I have Chase. So I was wondering, do they have Chase there?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
No, but the thing is, even if they have a Chase Bank, we may not be where there is one.
Right.
And you don't have time to be driving to the other side of town to find one. So that is why you're going to end up relying on ATMs and just buying on credit. I mean, you can use your credit card in any store. They love credit cards in Israel.
Even in the shuk?
Not in the
If you're talking about the old city,
Yeah.
I
don't know what I'm talking about.
If you're talking about the old city, there are some very high-end merchants there who sell goods that are very, very expensive, and they would probably take a credit card. Some of them, you can just see it, so they're not selling high-end items, which case they would probably do better with cash.
Okay, so can I ask people about how much cash and shekels that they're going to get once they get there to carry around with them? Go ahead.
I'm going to start with about $400 worth for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because we will be buying some of our lunches and some of our dinners. As you noticed, they're not included. So about half of our dinners and lunches we will be paying for. And if you want to get a falafel, or you want to get some fruit from the fruit stand, or you want to buy some stuff. So yeah, I'm going to start with 400. And usually when I leave at the airport, I go to the store and I'm trying to get rid of my shekels, buying little chocolates. And what can I do? I've got 100 shekels left. I want to spend them.
Okay.
Marcia. You're muted.
So I'm trying to understand what kind of lock I should have. Do they scan our suitcases and put them on a plane, so we don't care what kind of lock we put on. Is that correct?
No.
What did you say?
I was going to say, if you buy lock, like if you go to AAA where they sell some of this stuff, any locks you put on have to be TSA accessible. And then you sell them saying TSA accessible, like the lock on my suitcase that's on my suitcase attached, it's TSA accessible. If TSA wants to get into your suitcase and you don't have a TSA accessible lock, they will just cut the sucker off.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion that I've used for eons now. We use cable ties, little cable ties that I put on the suitcase. If they've been opened once, and I've traveled all over the world, okay, they'll cut it and put a new one on.
Oh,
a zip tie.
A little tiny cable tie, and I put them on all the places where I normally have a lock. I don't put any locks on my suitcase that I check.
I would say Rebecca has her hand up too.
Yeah, I need to add zip ties to my list. Just a second. Zip ties.
Oh, Rebecca, please print out the insurance pages.
So Carol.
Done, Mom.
Well, Rebecca's writing that down. How do you get your zip ties? How do you get your zip ties off once you've reached your destination?
I carry a nail cutter with me, and I clip it off.
Are those allowed? Okay, I didn't know they were back to allowing nail clippers.
Never been stuck.
Under the airplane, Sarah.
Okay.
Although that's harder to get to.
I think Something to be aware of is international charges for data. So once we get to Israel, we probably all will want to buy new micro cards. Which I think should not be difficult, the SIM cards. Otherwise, you're going to have some serious roaming charges or might not be able to connect to any kind of data.
Well, Karen, you know, that would be circumvented by downloading WhatsApp. If you use WhatsApp on your phone, you can call without incurring those data charges.
Right, but if you
Okay.
want to do other kinds of internet searches or anything else.
You know, I'm trying to think because I haven't used a SIM card, and I've used my phone like to send text, to send emails. I didn't do other stuff, but I would send emails. I guess we need to check with our individual phone companies and see what they charge on that.
I was gonna say when I've traveled, if you, I know that my cell phone carrier has like a $10 a day kind of charge, and that's, I forget how many gigabytes of data that is, but it does allow you for some of that too. I'm Amy Tenzer. I couldn't figure out how to put my name on it. I'm really sorry. I'm doing mom life over here. I'm really sorry.
No, you're good. We're good. Yeah, I would say contact your company individually and ask them what they recommend. But yeah, if it makes sense to get a SIM card, I know a lot of people do that. Sometimes you can, I think you can order those things in advance. I'm not sure. I've never done it.
I've done it. I ordered a SIM card and they delivered it to my hotel. I couldn't figure how to get it into my phone, so I just sent it back. I said, I don't need it. Get along with that.
I can help with that if anyone needs it. I am tech savvy to some extent.
Oh, good. I'd say one thing about locks and things. I know I was talking to Marcia. When we go to our hotels, I don't want to say everyone, but some of them will have those lock boxes, you know, those thin lock boxes where you can leave your passports in them. I use my suitcase because, as I said, it has an attached lock to it. And that's where I throw anything I don't want cleaning people to see. Anything that I think could walk away, I throw in my suitcase, lock my suitcase, and put my suitcase in the closet. We didn't have any incidences of someone having something stolen from a hotel on our last trip, but I figure small things can disappear, but cleaning staff is not going to walk out of my room with my suitcase.
Another thing, just etiquette, I believe, for traveling is to leave a tip for the cleaning people when you leave. So if that's something you want to think about doing, you'll want to bring a little bit for that.
Yeah.
How much do you suggest a day per person?
I usually leave a couple dollars, but that's, I mean, I don't know.
So you're leaving dollars, not shekels?
I would say in Israel, I don't remember what I did. I'm just thinking when I travel in general, that's.
Yeah, it's usually somewhere a couple dollars, $5 a day. So if you've been in a hotel $4, 4 days, then multiply it by what you're willing to leave per day.
But do you leave it in dollars or in shekels?
I think you could do either. I think they would prefer dollars, would be my guess.
Really?
I don't know. It used to be that people preferred dollars. I would ask Mookie. He could probably tell you better than I can.
Okay.
I know that for our leaders that we're giving tips to, we are giving them money in dollars.
I got a few other miscellaneous things. Should I do those?
Yep.
Okay. Well, someone's asked me about taking toilet paper. And I don't remember that ever being an issue in the last couple trips to Israel. They're very first world and their tourist accommodations are very good. But if you feel better, go ahead. Usually what I do is I just go buy those little tissues, a bunch of those little tissues that you get in a pack, and I take one out with me every day because those things are great for napkins and for spills. And if you do need toilet paper, you can use the emergency. So those work.
My recollection is that they're like single ply and just really thin and not of the same quality that we're used to. So if you're okay with that and you want to use just double the amount of toilet paper, then you should be good. But if you're pretty particular about that, you might want to bring
Do
tissues.
not use tissues as toilet paper. They do not dissolve in the sewer systems and they can clog sewer systems.
Good notice. Good to know. Also,
Yeah.
about your glasses, if you're a person if your glasses would break and that would spoil the rest of your trip, bring a spare pair. Even if I used to travel with my prescription and then I decided that's stupid because getting a prescription and when you're traveling, it takes a few days at least or a week, you know, it's not, I'm going to be somewhere else. So bring a spare pair of glasses if it would be a problem for you to break the ones you've got. I know the person who sold me my travel insurance specifically said to take a certain number of papers with me because if I had to go to a hospital or have medical treatment, they'll ask to see them. It shows I have coverage. I don't need to carry my whole policy, but I do need to carry certain papers with me. So check with your travel agent about which papers would you need to present if you had to go to a hospital or a medical facility. I'm also recommending that you copy down the phone number or email of your travel agent, because if you run into not your insurance agent, because
Thank you.
yeah, sorry, I got confusing there. If you run into a problem like, I was on a trip and a lady had to go to a clinic because she twisted her ankle. And maybe she got all worried, is this covered? Should I do this? Should I do that? Well, if she can call or email her insurance agent back in the States, she can get an answer. So it's good to know how to contact that person if you run into problems with questions. So that's the end of my little notes.
Yeah, Marcia.
Well, we know we'll be safe, but just, and I'm sure the Israeli J2 is aware of any alerts, but could you say a few words about safety?
Sure. When I lived in Israel, even when I lived there during dangerous times, which are not the same as they are today, that was at a time when I would say in particular, civilians were being targeted, which is not the case necessarily. I felt more safe there than I ever did in America, to be honest. It's really, unless you are someplace where there is a conflict specifically, you will not think about security as an issue. It will perhaps be a little jarring if it's the first time you're seeing the Israeli military individuals because they have to carry their rifles with them everywhere. They sleep with them. So you will see oftentimes young people who you're like, wow, that's a kid carrying like this big, huge gun, but I promise you they know how to use it and they will not be just willy-nilly using it. It's I find that if you're Palestinian, it's probably less comfortable to see an Israeli person with a gun. However, I find as visitors who are coming from America, it is more comforting than not to know that if something arises, everyone around there usually has some military training because it's required to respond to something that's going on. The most fearful time that I had the last time was at the Women of the Wall, simply because those were very aggressive, ultra-Orthodox individuals who really didn't want us there. And that would be the time that I would be most cautious, but the Women of the Wall were really good about trying to surround us and make sure that we followed them. I would also suggest, speaking of that, I have a neck thing for my phone because last time I was so worried that I just want to make sure I had my phone and I missed leaving with the group, and Suzanne and I got stuck behind a wall with a lot of the people who were really unhappy, which is why I felt so afraid. But if you have something to keep your most important things like a phone on you, if you wear like a fanny pack, I know those are sort of a big thing again, just do it. And you won't have to worry as much. You want to keep your eyes and ears open. Does that help? I don't know if that's answering your question.
Yeah.
But I think also you should know, because you did reference it. I've been on a tour where there was some, there were incidents a lot, particularly in the western side of the, in the Arab section of the city. And our tour people, our tour guides never mentioned it. And most of the people weren't watching the news, so they didn't know what was going on. So they never knew it was happening. But we did not go visit the Arab market. And we were told, oh, we'll get to shop up to this point at the Cardo. That's all. So our tour company is very, very tuned in to security issues. And they will not tell us, they will not tell you why something may be changing, but they'll change the route or they'll change where we are if they think there's any problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the military intelligence, we don't even have to tell you, Israel is way advanced. They'll know if there's something rumbling, and they will be very smart and preventative of, you know, if they have any inclination that there's something that's going to happen, they will keep us away from there.
Okay.
Jennifer.
I do have a couple of questions, but I did also want to just say, Marcia, I recently read that it was a ranking of all the international countries as far as the safety to travel to them, and Israel was ranked at number 5. The US was ranked at number 30. So I promptly sent that to my dad to make him feel better. So maybe that may help you and your loved ones as well. I did want to ask how I can get connected to the WhatsApp group. I
added you today.
Okay.
So hopefully, if you don't still have it, please let me know. But I did this afternoon.
I will definitely check that out.
I did do that on both my tablet and my phone.
Great.
But I have it there. How does it work? Or do I just wait till you show me when I'm with you?
Okay, I was gonna say, I think that Teresa was kind enough to put a video on how to load it up. Maybe we can find one on how to actually use it.
That same video does give explanation of how to use it.
Okay. I had a feeling.
How do I, it said for instance, Teresa is already on it. So if I click on Teresa, I can text her through WhatsApp. Is that it? As long as she's on a WhatsApp thing. And I believe my daughter's name was also on it. Rebecca, do you have WhatsApp?
Me?
My daughter, Rebecca.
Oh.
Yes, I signed up for it as soon as Rabbi said to.
Okay, so
I followed directions, Mother.
I love that.
and yes, here I have the itinerary printed out, and I have the insurance stuff printed out. And I'm going to keep it all in my plastic yellow folder, which is going to be in my carry-on pack.
And Rebecca, we are going to.
I'm 50, Mom. 50. Sorry.
You're going to be very popular, Rebecca.
Her birthday is on Monday.
Ah,
I'm getting a yellow folder, just so you know.
I might change to a purple one. You never know.
That's funny. I did write in the chat, just so you know, the shekel is worth 28 cents at the moment, if that gives you an idea. So if you just assume it's something around the corner, that helps. And there was something else I was just going to say, but I don't remember. Oh, I know what it was. Just a reminder that our flight leaves, for those of us leaving out of Cincinnati, at 6:15 a.m. 6:15 a.m. So you may, again, want to consider staying overnight in Cincinnati. I just did that for the last trip I just made over break. And they actually, it was supposed to be $35 and they ended up taking it just off my bill. They didn't charge it to me at all for parking. So as long as you write down and give them the information, if you're staying at the same hotel that I did, they used to not charge at all. So it's a great opportunity for parking. If you want to stay there the night before, it might be worth the money. I think save in parking. If anyone needs a ride, Carol, I think I'm giving you a ride, maybe.
I'm going with Sarah and Lonnie. They're
okay, I am not giving you a ride. If anyone needs a ride, let me know.
I do.
You do, Vicky? Do you?
I don't have a reservation yet, but I can get one.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk and make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay.
Because they were actually taking the same flight to Israel that we did last time, which is I think flight number 84. And that leaves at 3:55 in the afternoon. We get in at 8:22. Last time we went, we did a one-day pass to the United Lounge, I believe. Teresa says, don't do it.
Polaris pulled the plug.
They did?
Yes, they had the Polaris Lounge. You paid a fee. It was dreamy. We killed the whole day in luxury. Now Polaris Lounge, the last time I checked a few weeks ago online, is only available to the first class and business class passengers. Sorry, coach scum. You don't get it.
Bummer. Okay. Other questions that we have?
Karen, what time are you suggesting people arrive to get through security? Usually early in the morning, security is not backed up yet. But if our plane leaves, what, 6:30 you said?
6:15.
6:15. What time do you suggest we target to get to the airport?
I would personally target 5.
4.
I think that they say if it's an international flight, you're supposed to get there like 2 hours early. But I'm just trying to be realistic.
Domestic. The thing is, Cincinnati Airport is so much bigger than Dayton, so it'll take you longer to get to the gate.
Yeah.
And Terry Holman, excuse me. Terry, do you want to bring your question? You sent me an email with a question.
Oh, I was just starting to think, and but I didn't want to take up too much time, but I was interested in if anyone else wanted to go see the Sea of Galilee.
Oh.
So I don't know. And then I saw Safat was right there and I kind of wanted to go there, but you know, it would be a day trip on one of those. I think when people are going to Masada.
Well, the Masada's not happening, but you would do it on the first Saturday.
Yes.
And you can look online.
Okay.
Day Trips Israel, and you can look. There are a couple of companies, and Bain, BEIN HARIM, Bain Harim was one Mookie recommended.
That means between the mountains. Between the mountains, Bain Harim.
And I've used Rent-A-Guide, and what they would do is you sign up for it here in the States, you pay for it online with your credit card. They'll pick you up at your hotel and bring you back. If you go, usually the trip up to the Sea of Galilee includes the Christian cities of Nazareth as well. Not usually spot. If you want a specific tour where I want to go here and here and here, then you might want to get a private guide, but that's very pricey.
I know, and I don't want to make it too complicated. And as I said in my email, it's not going to make or break me at all not to get there. I just thought I'd throw it out and see if anybody else was interested.
And if you go, I'd consider going with you.
So Marsha, our guardian angel.
So we can
we'll talk about that. Yeah,
okay.
I'll look up and see.
Okay, it's a beautiful spot.
I know. And everyone, I'm thinking maybe I should get there.
For anyone who is interested, when we get to Israel, we are going to have lunch, I believe, before we go to the Ayalon Institute. Ayalon Institute is very close to where Rabbi Sofian lives there. So he's going to try and join us probably for lunch that first day.
Cool.
Cool.
Yep. I'll be in touch with him, letting him know what our ETA is. So
I have one suggestion. It's just something that I've done for years. On my computer, I have a list of all of my meds and supplements, and I keep it updated all the time. And I have that file on my phone also, and on my tablet, so that if you are, for any reason, in Israel and you need medical assistance, and they ask you, what are you taking? You've got it right there. You can show them either on your tablet or your phone. So update it, download it to your tablet or your phone, and it makes it much easier.
As I say, again, if anyone wants to send me that type of information so that somebody other than yourself has it. If you're worried, God forbid something should happen to you and they can't get into your phone, but someone else has it, I'm happy to keep it on my phone.
Thank you.
Following up on Carol's suggestion, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little card that I keep in my wallet since one of my children told me to do this with all my, not the one that's here, another one that you'll meet.
Good
He's
for you. Good for you.
the doctor, and he said, carry in your wallet a list of your medications and a list of emergency numbers. And I put them on the computer and I minimize them and carry them on a little card in my wallet. He said, if you ever go to the emergency room, they check your wallet first.
Okay.
I listen to my children, even though they always don't listen to me.
I understand.
So Teresa, I don't remember the answer to this. Did we, I mean, when we usually get water in Israel, it's oftentimes in like pre-done bottles, you know, like the just plastic bottles. I'm trying to remember if it was worthwhile or not to have a water bottle, like a permanent, like a more.
You know, when I went, I took a thermos because I like coffee. So I would take coffee from breakfast. So I
Okay.
could be drinking coffee into the morning. Yeah, they have on the bus, they usually have water bottles in plastic containers, and they are kind enough to collect the water. You have a place you can recycle them when you get back on the bus. It's up to you. I mean, they do weigh something, and if you want to carry it around, I don't know whether I'd have to get a new thermos. But I did like having my 5th cup of coffee around 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Rebecca just left. Bye, Rebecca. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to use the group email or WhatsApp group. Get, I think Teresa had mentioned, is a great thing. It's like an Uber, and it is exceptionally helpful if you're trying to get around the city. You know, if you're in Jerusalem on the day off and you want to go to the Israel Museum, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of the city or go wherever you want to go with it.
So I have a quick question on that, on the Get app. When I went and looked, the one that I found says Get Corporate Ground Travel is I know you said ground travel. I can't find one that says ground travel. Okay.
Okay, I went to the Apple store because I've got the Apple.
Yep.
And I'm just going to pull it up right now on a search. GETT period. You got to add
Right.
the period.
Okay.
Looks like a person holding their hand up on a yellow background. At least mine does.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Get ground. Let me look.
That's weird. I can't.
Yeah, that's the one. Get ground transportation. If you tap on it, it'll open up to ground transportation. It's GETT with a gold dot at the end.
Mine just says it's corporate ground travel, and that just made me a little.
Yeah. You know, I don't see that on mine.
It's marketing. It's marketing.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I would say what I did the last time I went is I like to make lots of little folders of all the different apps for different things. I don't know if anyone else does that too, like, you know, reading, music, stuff like that. I've got one that says Israel. And so one of the things I have on there, you know, I have a news station, I've got Get, I've got Israel, Israel Rail, which is like for their rail line. But I have Morfix, you may want to get MORFIX. It's a translation, like a dictionary. So if you're having trouble, you want to say, you know, how do I say bathroom? And no one's around you, you can look it up on there. Or if someone's trying to speak to you, you shouldn't have any instances of that, but if you really would like that, it's helpful. And then I had one that told me what the shekel value is. You can just plug in a number and it'll tell you how much in American dollars it is. There are all sorts of those on the web.
And Rabbi, I sent people some suggestions that I wrote Mookie about the Ramparts because I saw it was open on Saturday, and I wrote him, I said, but is the ticket office open on Saturday? So he wrote me back to, yeah. He said, but here are some other places you might want. And that's what I shared with you guys. So we'll talk about that maybe once we're in Israel, so people can find other people who might want to do the same thing that they want to do.
We'll have a whole day at the airport in Newark.
That's true.
Plenty of time.
my.
I
to
thought
get
it was, I didn't realize it was all day. I thought it was,
It's not all day. We get in, I think, 8:22 and leave close to 4. So, I mean, it's
That's
a long day, but
That's
by
a
the time
lot.
you get through and go over to the international area, it's not that much time.
It's a long day.
Yes, it is.
Bring a book, download your books to your Kindle if you're gonna bring one.
Not taking my tablet.
I'm
It's gonna be
planning on
very
this being my last big hurrah in traveling, so
I'm not taking my tablet.
I'm making all the shortcuts I can get.
I'm not taking my tablet.
Oh.
I was gonna say, Sarah's not taking the tablet.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good. I would say, but some of you may want to take a little journal to write down information about the different places you're going, or if there's a quote from the Bible that they're talking about and you want to remember what it was because it's meaningful. You might want to do that. Just a little notebook.
Oh, I just looked at Suzanne and I thought of something. On my last trip, I said, I'm not buying any stuff here. You can buy everything back in the States and you don't have to schlep it. But of course, I ended up buying some stuff, little stuff, cheap stuff, but it accumulates. And that was the trip when I was going to travel with a small suitcase. I got over it. I got a bigger suitcase. And I didn't have any space to bring my stuff back. But Suzanne, as you know, is super organized. She actually had a second fold-up carry-on, which she loaned me, and without which I would not have been able to bring this crap back. So I have now learned, and I would strongly recommend everyone take a fold-up carry-on, because maybe you're different. If you come back with as much as you took over and not more, good on you. But that's never been my experience. So it's a good idea, just one of those fold up carry-ons, what do you call them?
No, I have a couple of extras.
Yeah.
Get them early.
Definitely. Great advice. And I looked it up, but I don't remember now because I don't remember. If it's 50 or 70 pounds on the luggage, you may want to check it. It's United.
I thought I saw it was 50.
Yeah.
It normally is. I don't remember if it was more for an international flight.
Okay.
Check it. I don't think so.
But I think it's like 61 or 62 inches that for, all the different sizes of, what is it, the length, width, diameter, all of that. 61 is, I think, the most. In case you're planning on taking a huge suitcase. You don't need that much stuff. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, I got this bigger suitcase and I'm really worried that I'll have to get so excited about having more space that last time I took under 30 pounds worth over. And I'm afraid, I got all this space. I can take this, I can do this. And then I'm going to get there. I'm going to get hit with a fee for overweight. So
that's why I always carry a carry-on satchel thing that I can put things into at the airport and have another thing.
Smart.
I weigh my suitcase before I close it.
Yeah.
Always. Always. Always.
So I was gonna say, Carol, I really hope, Carol Forshaw, that your healing is going to greatly improve in the next few days and that you feel like you've got all of the strength that you need to be a part of this, because we would love to make sure that you're with us.
I really want to. I really want to. And I'm trying to walk as many steps as I can a day, which isn't much, but still.
Yeah, just do what you can. And again, I will contact our person from J2 and see if there are any modifications or how much actual walking at some of these places we would have to be doing.
Thank you.
So, and I'll get back to you on that one. But in the
Thanks so
meantime,
much.
I would say just make sure that you guys are on the list for the email, but more importantly on the WhatsApp, because that's what we'll be using when we're in Israel. And it's a great way also to share pictures with each other. Just a thought. So if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We will make this recording available to anyone who needs more information again or who wasn't here. So.
So, Rabbi, is this going to be available to those to watch on? You're going to send it out so people who weren't here want to sit through this, okay?
Yeah.
And Suzanne, do we have a exec meeting next Wednesday?
All right. Well, I'm so excited to see all of you in person. All of you, though we may know each other, we get to actually spend time together, and I'm looking forward to it. So.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. See you at the airport.
See you then. Take care.
Please.